Hey everybody, John Granato and Lance Zierlein. You can hear us mornings on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Hit subscribe if you haven't yet so you get all our content right here. Last week, SportsMap Houston's Ken Hoffman proposed the Astros offer Carlos Correa a 7-year, why are you dabbing on Ken Hoffman? I don't get it. 7-year, $241.5 million deal, which is $34.5 million per year, which is just more than Lindor makes. You think the Astros would be open to a deal that would be 7 years and just over what Lindor makes?
Well, it's $100 million less than's guaranteed to Lindor. The per year is going to be a little higher, but the commitment is not as long. So if Carlos doesn't live up to it, you're out of it much quicker. It also makes him easier to trade if you wanted to trade him after 3 years. I think strategically it's a much smarter contract. I don't think that anyone should ever be going 10 years. I think that's 10 years guaranteed is really dumb to me. 7 would be the borderline of what I would do. I think the Astros should consider it. Yeah, I think, 6 is what they've offered already. Granted, it's a different per year number. But, John, if you do 7 years, it gives you stability for a long runway, but it also is a little easier to get out of a little bit earlier than a 10-year contract would. Those become albatross contracts. Just ask the Angels when they had Albert Pujols' contract. So, yeah, I would hope that they would consider 7 years at that amount.
I don't know. I don't know that the Astros are going 7 years. We haven't seen them do that yet. We just haven't. And so far, what I'm hearing is they're just seven's out of the question. It's just not happening. I think the $341.5 million would be something that $241.5 would be something that they would think about. They don't want to do, that's $100 million less than Lindor. Okay, I just don't think that 7 years. I think 35 they can do a year, but I just don't see 7 years. I just can't see it. I do see this though. I saw it all weekend. I see it on the golf course. I see it when I'm watching games, not watching games, eating dinner. It's Coors Light. I see the world's most refreshing beer. I see it going down. It's hard to see going down because my eyes are up here and my mouth is down here, so that's difficult. But I do see empty bottles in front of me after I'm done drinking them, and you know what? I just love that, and you will love it too. You're looking for cold, clean, crisp, and refreshing? Try my friends over at Coors Light. If Carlos were to sign a comparable deal, 7-40 with another team, what do you think the reaction would be like here?
I think sad because people are going to say that's something that the Texans, the Astros could have done. They'll say 7 years. It's not even 10 years. It's not even what Sager got, Tatis got. It's not the duration. It's not really close to the duration of those contracts. It's 30% less. It's $100 million less than Lindor got from a guaranteed standpoint. It's a 3-year, $100 million less. So it's in essence $33 million per year less for over 3 years. It would. I think there'd be a lot of disappointment. I think the fans would be very disappointed if that were to happen. I don't. Let the record reflect. You want to throw that number out there? Carlos Correa, 7 years, $240 million from another team. I'm going over. I'm going over in years. I'm going over in total value. So I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know. We're running out of teams now, though. I think we're starting to get into the neighborhood where it's going to be $100 million less total than Lindor got. I do. But now it's going to be fewer years, which is going to be a deal for teams. But now we're starting to get into where, wait a minute. So you'll take fewer years, but more on the per year. Okay. Now we're getting it because a guy with a back, a guy that's been up and down like Carlos has. A guy with, the broken ribs and the injury history that he has had, I could see a lot of teams going, I'll do a deal for Lindor. Seager's been injury prone. I don't know how he got that deal. I'll do a deal for other guys, but not a back guy that I got to give 10 years to. I certainly see that being in the neighborhood of what Carlos is going to end up signing for.
Then I would pivot. If I'm the Astros, I would pivot and I would say 3 years, $108 million. You're going $36 million a year for 3 years. You get Carlos back on the market in time for another contract, and you keep the window open while giving him the highest per year of any shortstop. I mean, if you're not going to go 7, then and we've talked about this before. And if you think the market's going to be softer now, then why not pivot to a more aggressive strategy saying, look, Carlos, we'll make you the highest per year shortstop. We'll make it shorter so that you can get to the market quicker. Even if it were 2 years, and say, prove that you can stay healthy over the course of the last 3.5 years, which would be 2 years contract this year. And then obviously the pandemic year, maybe that's something that would appeal to Carlos to get back out on the market after proving, hey, if you guys are worried about my back, here I've been healthy this whole time. I think Carlos would rather have the guaranteed money is my guess. But that might be a way to go, John, is just to pivot and say, look, some other teams might be offering you 7 or 8 years. We're going to go higher per year, and we're going to do it 3 years or even 2 years and let you get back to the market.
Yeah, listen, I think 2 years would be more attractive to him because he still gets back to free agency in his 20s. He got maybe even more, a 2-year, $75 million deal. That's 37
Could
and a half.
Be $40 million a year after that.
I mean, yeah. And he's still, now he's betting on himself again. God forbid he gets hurt, because I said that last offseason. God forbid he gets hurt, because if he does, now his value is going to plummet. So it's a big risk, but he ain't scared of betting on himself. Dude has bet on himself before, and I think that would be more attractive than any 5 or 6 year deal that he would do, and possibly. And I'm not sure that 10-year deals are out there anymore.
Yeah, if you think about it this way, if he did a 2-year deal with the Astros at $37 million, right, would give him $74 million, and then he did a 6-year at $40 million. Because there is a chance that those numbers could continue to come up, not just for Carlos, but in general. Yeah. Then you start doing the math on that, and you're up over $300 million over 8 years, which is going to be more per year than Lindor, more per year than Tatis, and you're up over the $300 million contract without going 10 years. So I think it's got to be something that Carlos would consider, but that's really bet on yourself mode if you do that. And for that to happen, like you said, the market will need to be very soft when this lockout is over.